Once upon 1990, deep in the Arctic wastelands, 1,000 penguins huddled, an army of warmth against the cold violence of a blizzard. The winds were so strong they shook loose an egg from the feathered bass and sent it rolling, rolling across the ice, across the seas, across great lands to rest finally in Houston, Texas, of all places. Sensing at last stillness, the egg began to hatch, and just as Venus erupts forever from Botticelli's clamshell, so too did Annar from her egg, Venusian hair and all. She had fingers where flippers would have been, which she used to write a poem, and that poem was herself. Today, if you were to ask her what her favorite flavor of ice cream is, she would say, freed. Incredible introduction, thank you, and it's all very, very true, just in case you were wondering. So let me go ahead and get started here. So tonight I'll be reading for about 10 minutes, and the pieces I'll be reading tonight all fall into this theme that has been prevalent in my life over about the last 10 years. It's this notion that I've always been most present in between things. Never quite here, never quite there. I tend to be most aware when I'm like on a bus on my way home between work and school, or work and home, or most present between sickness and health, or love and heartbreak, between school semesters. Being present between these places also gives my life the scent of waiting, and so time and seasons and light play huge roles in my daily life. And so I obsess and become very anxious at the thought of them. The thing that gives me like the most grief in the world is the thought of like a watch just sitting in a forest ticking away for no one. So with that, I'll start you guys off with my first poem, An Implacable Force Brooding Over. I got used to no time as the years ticked by like a brand new watch with no wrist to sit on. I watched until life drowned out into the night. I watched until true and false felt all the same. I got used to no time, knowing that we are gone, and I am rotten, and it is the mystery of the wilderness. This next piece is called Brass on Mussorgsky. The rose brass horn says, be still, be still, be still, so I can sing and show you how. The damned angels creep and scream near the closed gates of heaven as the sky begins to plead. So I can sing and show you how the poets lurk between the chords, between the sound, between the strings of the world's collapsed heartbeat. Conductor and composer lift their hands to create time. The stage brightens, the audience fades into an abyss. One massive inhale by a painterly gesture, sweeping breaths, moving chests, shoulders back, lips parted. Soon then, the frequencies move about the air like currents in a synchronized exhibition. Feel now the sorrow of the orchestra as its sound folds into a rondo, filled with sadness, infinite, conducted by a moving sun and autograph of time. I hear upon a lifted measure, a rose brass horn calling for Mussorgsky, in between breaths, in between rests, among the silence of a quieting orchestra. Music, in the grooves of the seats, in the grooves of the beings, in the grooves of the mind, the silence, the chaos. Grow, grow, then fade, says the horn, into nothing but resonance and recollection. Spanish exit. We stood there in search of lights with eyes bloodshot, peering into the blackness and the disarray of the in-betweens, bug-eyed and self-aware of every breath, hearing the loudness of one's lips parting. We were souls sifting, tapping with energy like fingers or toes for walls, tables, earth, and chairs to lean on, sit on, lay on. In the darkness, in search of lights, that is where we are, that is where we'll always be, in the empty spaces that cannot be filled, in the places of the mind that cannot be fulfilled. Stems. This is about a really bad camping trip. Like, the boy I went with didn't come back for 3 months. It's weird. The stems of the fields were golden and thick, like the breaks in your hair, like the breaks in your mind. We both fell ill that winter, but there was a morning when you showed me the sunrise, and I looked at your face and I stepped into the wrinkles around your eyes and thought them as a place to hide. I found safety in your face as you rubbed what was left of yourself, of ourself, of myself, in the thick morning light. We are, I said, beside the Texas Gulf that beats to the rhythm of my frantic mind, unsteady and fluid and fading. We will die right here, together but alone in January, blue lips touching, cold hands clasping, uncertain and unsuspecting. We will die like this, in the absence of light, desperate to prove which pockets of the earth are ours, wishing our gods too would linger through the night for answers. And this last one's really special because I'm going to read to you for 6 seconds in Spanish, and you're going to enjoy it. Las cosas perdidas en traducción. Hay cosas, me dijo, con su oreja contra mi pecho, que solo se puede explicar, definir y comprender, entre el silencio encontrado en los latidos del corazón. Things lost in translation. There are things, she said, with her ear against my chest, that can only be explained, defined, and understood in the silence found between heartbeats. Thank you, guys.